No Film School's coverage of NAB is brought to you by Big Stock, videos and images for everyone. Color Grading Central, professional color grading with Color Finale. Shutterstock, where ideas take shape. Blackmagic Design, amazing solutions for film, post-production, and television.
So I'm here with Mike over at the Arri booth, and we're going to be looking at the new Sky Panels that have just come out this year.
Right. So this is the Sky Panel. It's a brand new product. We just launched it yesterday. The Sky Panel is a ultra bright LED soft light, and we're able to do a lot of really cool things with it. So in addition to, of course, being able to have full control over the intensity of the fixture, we could change the color temperature. So you could go all the way from 2800 degrees Kelvin all the way up to 10,000 degrees Kelvin. In addition, you could adjust the green magenta point, so you could add magenta or you could add green to it if you're trying to correct for that way. And you could go into a color mode where you could get all of these vivid colors. And then, of course, if you find the color that you like, you could adjust the saturation of that color.
So it's completely fully color adjustable.
Fully color adjustable, yeah. And we have a couple of things on the back here in terms of control. So we have 5-pin DMX in and through. We actually have an Ethercon or a LAN port so that you could connect through network connectivity, so like ArtNet. You could even do software updates through the LAN. We have a USB-A for also doing software updates. This is the power input that goes to an external power supply. And we have also an input for batteries. This consumes 400 watts of power, but it puts out more than a 2,000 watt tungsten soft light. So it's tremendously bright. Also on the front I could show you, so we also focused on a large aperture. You know, when it comes to soft lights, the bigger the aperture, the better. You always want bigger for soft lights. So we try to make it as large as possible in this kind of power class, this kind of size configuration. So in addition to these panels, you could actually open up the top and slide out one panel and replace it with a light diffusion, a heavy diffusion, and we even have an intensifier that will increase the light output by about 30%. You could also use it in a space light configuration, so if you wanted to kind of light straight down, you could use the standard diffusions, but you could actually also put it directly into kind of industry standard silks that are out there, and it creates just like a tungsten soft light. When it's in the silk, it's putting out approximately, or maybe even a little bit more than a 6K space light. So it's extremely efficient and really bright.
What's the CRI on this?
So we focus on, Arri being a camera company as well, it's really important to create very good white light. So that's what we focus on a lot. So the CRI on this is higher than 95. If you talk about TLCI, which is a newer index for broadcast cameras, it's higher than 90. So the color rendition is excellent.
Tungsten all the way through.
All the way through, yeah. And that's very difficult to do, but we've managed to achieve it with this.
And what's the price point on this?
So this one has a US list price of $6,250. We have another version, which maybe we can move to, which is the S60RP. The RP stands for Remote Phosphor. So what a remote phosphor is, basically, there's no such thing actually as a natively white LED. All white LEDs are blue LEDs with a phosphor coating. So with remote phosphor technology, what we're doing is we're using blue LEDs only as a light engine, and then putting a phosphor panel in front of it. And then that panel basically becomes the illuminant. It becomes what you're lighting. And you could change out the panels for different color temperatures. So we have 2700, 3200, 4300, 5600, and 6500 degrees Kelvin. You can just swap out the panels.
And those are user adjustable on the fly.
Yeah, you just pull out one panel, pull in another. You could adjust the intensity, of course, but there is no green magenta correction or vivid colors. So you're slightly limited with that. It's about 10% brighter, the remote phosphor version, and it's less expensive as well. So the remote phosphor version has a US list price of $4,500.
And then what would be the color accuracy of that
The
one?
remote phosphors are excellent. So they have a CRI of about 98, depending on the color temperature that you're choosing, and the TLCI is also above 95 typically.
Right. And this one's also battery.
This one is also battery operable as well, and it's got all the same DMX controls, so you could use DMX, you could use the LAN with that. It's got all the same interface with it, it's just a slightly different technology.
Power output is similar in terms of actual how much power you...
Yeah, so they're both about 400 watts. With the C model, it really depends on which color temperature you're set at as to what power it uses. But the remote phosphor is roughly about 400 watts as well.
And we also have this smaller panel.
Correct. So we have what's called the S30. So it's basically the smaller version. It's half the width of the S60, half the power consumption. But you have all the same great features. So the tunability, all of the control that you have on the back, and we have both a C version and a remote Phosphor version of the S30 as well.
And then what's the power output on that one?
200 watts, and it's roughly the equivalent of like a 1K tungsten soft light.
So yeah, it's a little less than half.
Right, exactly. Yeah, so the C version of the S30 is about $4,500 US. The remote Phosphor version is $3,125.
Okay. And also, do you at some point maybe have attachment options that you could have slide in like soft boxes?
Yeah, it's a great comment, because we do have several different ways to attach accessories. On the side here, there's a slot that you could actually slide a barn door into. So if you wanted to use barn doors, we actually have a slot on the inside, which we call our accessory slot. You could put egg crates in there and louvers, and we are actually working with Chimera to make a softbox for this light as well. They come with a yoke, they come with a power supply as well. They come with all the power cords needed. We also have the option of attaching the power supply to the back of the unit if you wanted to. So we have an attachment that you just attaches to the back of the power supply, and it just slides onto this rail system on the back. So you could have, if you wanted to have all in one unit, you could do that. Or if you wanted to put the power supply on the floor or attach it to a light stand, as you can see here, we have an attachment on the back that attaches to basically anything that's circular. You could also put it remotely, so if you wanted to kind of have it like, 30 feet away from the light, you could do that as well. And that way it takes the weight off of the head of the power supply and puts it someplace else, so you can make this as lightweight as possible.
Right, so what is the weight on this?
This is about 26 pounds, the head. The power supply is about, I want to say about a little less than 10 pounds, maybe about 8 pounds.
Okay. And then for the smaller one, it's the 30.
The 30 is about 15 pounds, the head, and the power supply is going to be about half of what the S60 power supply is.
Great. And availability on these?
So we're shipping starting in September of this year.
Okay. All right, great. Thank you.
Excellent, no problem.